this was a cool, like, I always like this introduction of Superman just on fire, you know, for the people to see him, like just normal guys to look at this guy's basically just on fire. And who is this guy? I love that notion. This was a set we built in again in Vancouver in a parking lot. We built this big. We had the movie. We had cooperation with the DoD, Department of Defense, and so we were by proxy able to use the actual Coast Guard and an actual Coast Guard helicopter in the photography of the scene. And so this sequence, this is a big set. And Henry had to we had this big hydraulic thing and he had to really grab hold of a thing, not as big as what you see, of course, in the movie, but it was a substantial thing. And this was a prop we built that actually sagged. It was like a piece of metal that actually sagged under these hydraulics. So we were able to create that physically. And then so the helicopter taking off and getting out of the way, that was real. And then the environment was built around it. And I remember when we shot that one shot, as it took off, I was in the helicopter in the camera ship. And as it took off, we had to wrap around it. And it was a little bit, I don't know, that I felt a little bit like, wow, that was quite a dramatic perspective change. And they couldn't, you know, when the camera ship is in the blind spot of the helicopter pilot, that's always a little tricky, but those guys are pros and they made it look easy. Here we have our flashback to young Clark in school. And, you know, I think I did a drawing of this X-ray view of his teacher. Let me see where that one might be. This is all book one of Krypton. This was a lot of drawings of this is Zod and his cohorts. I drew Zod with a Fu Manchu in the old. What was him there? So that's not book one. That's not it. Let's see. Probably book two is book two. It's too big, Mom. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so I just, you know, this was my drawing of the school teacher, and her so that's her skeleton face. There's her heart. Boom, 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 boom. There's Clark going, what the heck? And then here's the kids, you know, in the classroom going, yeah, we're skeletons too. It's scary. You know, just trying to visualize what it might be for this young Clark who has this ability to this X-ray vision. You imagine that he has to, just like anything, you have to train yourself to see the outside of someone's face. I mean, that would be like a skill that you would have to learn, because otherwise, you know, it's how your depth perception would literally, you'd be able to look, you're almost like an MRI or whatever. You can look right into the center of the center of their head or whatever. And so you have to it would be a learned skill to be able to see the outside of someone's face.